This is a clip of British troops leaving India in 1948, symbolizing the end of Britain's hundreds of years of rule in India. Now, you might have noticed that I've said hundreds of years of rule instead of a specific number. That is because, well, let's see. Here we go. The British Raj refers to the period of British rule on the Indian subcontinent between 1858 and 1947, but that is the period after the transfer of power from the East India Company to the British government, so I guess you can argue it both ways. Anyways, I digress. As you watch this clip, have you ever wondered about the impact that British rule left in India? If you're wondering about this question, well, you can stop watching this video right now because it requires a lot of research and I don't want to do that right now. So, we will take a step back. Before we talk about the impact and legacy, what was colonial rule like for India? Thankfully, I have 4 paintings and images that we can get ourselves acquainted with. This is the first painting, The Breakfast, by William Taylor, who was a civil servant of the British East India Company. This painting was created in 1842 along with the 2 other recorded paintings by him, The Young Civilian's Toilet and The Young Lady's Toilet, both very sophisticated names. Okay, the first thing that we should focus on when a painting has the word breakfast in it should be the food. As we can see, we have this thing that looks like moldy bread, some spherical object that looks like potatoes, and rice, sardines. My guesses are probably wrong, but I don't think it's an English breakfast. I think the English couple, presumably, had to assimilate with at least some of India's customs because globalization was not a thing back then. One thing that caught my eyes was a white woman. Looking at from a distance, she's leaning in with her eyes closed. I can tell that there's a hint of smile or disapproval from her mouth because of its god-awful picture quality. So is she satisfied with her life here, or is she really unhappy that she had to presumably travel on a stinking boat for months to leave her comfortable home and come to this undeveloped colony? I think the latter is the most likely. Let's focus our attention on the servants. They're most likely Indian and dressed a lot more humbly, I don't know if that's a word, than the English people. They're obviously servants, and to be honest, I don't think I can say much about their relationship regarding this painting. It is very similar to my servants in an European upper-class home, so let's take a look at the other 2 paintings by Taylor briefly. These 2 paintings give me the sense of royalty with how the 2 English people were treated. They're being treated like kings and queens, with servants doing everything from washing their feet to brushing their hair and sweeping the van for them. These 2 paintings convey a division between Indians and whites in terms of social class and power. The second painting is about tiger hunting in India. I can't find the source of this painting, but from my 30 years of experience in our field, I can reasonably conclude that this was painted by an European from its variety of strokes and color. Anyways, this painting depicts 2 European men and their entourage of elephants and Indian servants trying to kill a tiger. I don't know what this guy's doing here. He's either scared out of his mind without continence, or he's trying to scare the tiger with a spear. No, it's a stick? This painting conveyed the English's luxurious activities in India. Who want to hunt a tiger unless he's so out of his mind arrogant and has gotten nothing else to do? Also, the Indians were depicted as lowly servants, signifying their role as almost royal subjects that was destined to serve the white men. Okay, the next one is a tongue twister. The third painting was an Indian painting depicting an Indian prince and 2 British officers entertained by a traditional Indian dance concert with professional dancers. This painting is very interesting since it depicts the British officers as in equal positions with the Indian prince. Since the other 2 paintings was created by Europeans, they might have had an inclination to depict the Indians as a lot more inferior than the whites, since that was a common belief back then. This Indian source is saying otherwise, depicting white men watching the dance intently, seemingly trying to assimilate into Indian culture. Their sitting positions are also worth noting. They sit cross-legged just like the Indians, another evidence to their willingness to experience another culture. The equal level that the prince and the 2 Englishmen were sitting at also outlined the relationship between the Indian nobility and the English. The relationship is a lot more cooperative and equal as opposed to the lower castes of India. The 4th picture was published by London Printing and Publishing Co. in 1858. It is called Blowing Meatless Sepoys from the Guns, super descriptive and pleasant title for sure. The image portrays an important-looking European ordering the fire of cannons which propelled millions of body pieces in the air. I don't know, but that seems like something the Mongols would do. Hello? Yeah. I can't use this joke? It's from Crash Course? This image really depicted the order and viciousness of the British Army. Since this was an execution event in response to the Indian uprising of 1857 and 58, this also signified their will to rule India with an iron fist. Well, with these 4 paintings and images, we now have a sense of British rule in India. However, there are a lot more details that were not covered by these sources, so next time, we'll dive a lot deeper than this video. Thank you for tuning in into this little introduction of a mini-series of national history, and I hope to see you next time.